just as a reminder, especially we have some new students today, if you feel at any time like you want to sit down or even just hold on to the chair for balance, whatever, we can modify all of these things. So if I see you sit, I won't call you out on it obviously, but I may also sit to show you how to modify that exercise. Mostly it'll be kind of intuitive, but everything we do in the standing position can also be done in the seated position. So yeah. I think we're just about there. Oh, awesome.
This is my normal drink for snacks as I come through the aisle. Thank you. Have a good class.
Thank you. All right, everyone. So let's just jump right in. We're going to start feet shoulder width. Everything we're doing, just as a reminder, we want to do completely relaxed. We don't want to force anything. Nice and easy. And just one more time as a reminder, if you have any question, whatever it is, whether it's how to do something or you don't understand something, or even a question of why we're doing something, just throw your shoe and get my attention, because I'm happy to answer. A lot of times we get a little bit shy about asking a class in a public forum like this, or we're worried to kind of break up the flow of things, but it never fails that if somebody asks a class, everyone else is kind of nodding their head as the answer is being given, like, wow, thank God that person asked that question, because I was wondering, I just didn't want to ask. So that's the deal with that. All right, so feet shoulder width, nice big round hoop with the arms, and we're going to gently turn 3 to the right, 3 to the left, and we'll repeat. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. Left hand on the waist, we're going to reach over with the right, bending at the waist. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to raise our arms gently, bending towards the floor, just go as low as you can while keeping your legs straight. 1, 2, 3. Turn to your right. 2, 3. Turn to your left. 2, 3. Middle one time, we stand up. Deep breath in. And out. And again. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Middle one time. Stand up. Inhale. And exhale. You really don't have to worry about the wind in Zoom, right? 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. One time, we inhale and exhale. Hands on the waist. We're going to make a gentle circle with the waist. We want to keep the feet flat on the ground and the head fairly still. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Let's switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. We're going to cross the hands, place the hands on the knees. We're just going to use the hands to kind of brace and support the knee. And we want to gently make a circle with the knees. 1, 2, 3. Very good. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Switch your hands, switch directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Hands on the waist, turning the head side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Tilting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. And rotation. We're going to make a nice gentle circle. 1, 2, 3. And we switch. 1, 2, and 3. Very good. So let's open up the feet, arms out. We're going to gently turn the waist. If you turn your head, it will ensure that your arms go along for the ride and that you're actually turning your waist. A lot of times we think we're turning our waist, but we're really just swinging the arms. But if you kind of try to look behind you, the body's going to follow. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Very good. So now we're all going to face the right hand side. We're going to point our left toe 45. And you can use we have the bricks here, so you want to line up the foot, your right foot against the heel of your left foot and then step straight out with the right. So this is what we call an empty stance. We want to bend the supporting leg, the left leg, and the front leg has really no weight on it, your right leg. That's why we call it an empty stance or a neutral stance. What we're going to do is gently shift forward, keeping the heel flat, and sit back. Good. Forward and back. We pivot on the heel, shift to the right, pivot on your left heel, and we go forward, back, forward, back. Pivot, shift, pivot, forward, back, forward, back, pivot, shift, pivot, forward, back, forward, and back. So just before we continue, just to show how you might modify this in a seated position, if I'm sitting in a chair, I can still get all of this pivoting of the hip because the hip's a ball in a socket, right? And most people don't use their hip as though it's a ball in a socket. They use it with way less range of motion. And this is one of the reasons that a lot of people have hip problems, because it doesn't have that range of motion. It's not practiced at doing that. And so we can increase that range of motion by using it for what it's designed for. So in a seated position, if I shift my weight to one side, it helps me to pivot on that side. When I sit back on this side, it makes it easier to move this. I shift forward, back, pivot, shift, pivot, shift, pivot, shift, pivot, forward and back, pivot, shift, pivot, shift, pivot. So we're getting this idea of unweighting and of pivoting the feet in much the same way that we do when we're standing on our feet. When we're standing on our feet, we're going forward, back, forward, back. We pivot, shift, pivot, forward, back, forward, back. We pivot, shift, pivot. So if you think about it, in your day-to-day coming and going, you probably do not pivot your hip open or closed very often, right? You walk, it's straight forward. You're really using your hip mostly like it's an elbow, right? It's just doing this. Because most of us don't do this, right? We crank out the hip and open it up. And so Tai Chi offers us an opportunity to gain a lot more mobility out of the joint because of this articulation of the hip joint in that kind of pivot where you're getting that rotation. It's the same thing with a lot of the shoulder movements that we do, where we're getting this fuller range of motion than you would get normally just walking around. All right, so I just wanted to kind of point out that that's how we could modify that. Okay, so now we're going to go hands on the waist, shoulder rolls going back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We go forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Very good. On this one, we're going to bend at the elbow. We're going to pick our palms up, turn the palms over, and just let them free fall down. So up and down. And we're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. So we inhale on the up and we exhale on the down. This one you want to go your own pace because you don't want to follow someone else's timing and then get a little lightheaded. Very good. Very good. Now we're going to do deep breathing. We bring the palms up, elbows down, elbows out. We're going to open the chest and bring the arms out as we take a deep breath in and slowly let the air out. Good. Palms up, elbows down, elbows out, deep breath in and out. And one more time, palms up, elbows down, elbows out, deep breath in and down. Awesome. So now we're going to make a circle with the wrists. Good. So the hands come up the middle and down the outside, up the center. Good. So even an exercise like this, you're getting this rotation in the shoulder with the articulation of the arm. Very good. Let's change direction so we come over the top and down the center. Good. What a beautiful day for Tai Chi. It's amazing out here. I think now would be a good time for me to thank the Walpole Council on Aging for hosting this. Awesome. Very good. Now we're going to place both palms face down. We're going to keep our hands as wide as our shoulders and going in the same direction the entire time. So we're going to go to the right, lift, left, down. Very good. Right, lift, left, down. On this one, right lift, your right arm goes vertical, and we change directions. Left lift, very good. Right down, left lift, right down, left lift vertical, then we change directions. Right lift, left down, right lift, left down, right lift vertical, change directions. Left lift, right down, left lift, right down, left lift vertical. Very good. So now we're going to put our palms facing down. We want our feet shoulder width, and if you can, with your feet parallel. Right, a lot of people pronate, maybe we're not aware of how much we pronate, but actually this does affect the hip in regards to balance. If you can get your feet parallel and the toes facing the front, it helps with the position of the hip and your total balance. So palms down, we're going to bend the knees gently, and we're going to gently shift to the left side. Yep. Now when we shift, we want to keep two things in mind. It's important that we bend the knee as we get to that side, because if you can imagine skiing with your legs locked, right, the whole body's balance is affected by that. And then the other thing is that we want to keep our shoulder on top of our hips. As long as we can keep our shoulder directly on top of our hips, no matter where we move, we have pretty good balance. It's when I start to get past that tipping point, I may not fall over or lose my balance, but the muscles tend to get tight to keep me supported. And if I can keep my shoulders on top of the hips, it's easier to keep the body relaxed. So we're going to shift to the left. Now we're going to stand up on the left leg, lifting the heel with the right, bring the right foot in, out, very good. Shift to your right, lift, good, in, out, shift to your left, lift, bring it in, out, shift, lift, bring it in, out, good, shift, lift, bring it in, out, shift, right, lift, bring it in, out, and in. Excellent. So now we're going to put our left foot back and our left hand forward. Okay? When we're doing this, two things. One, if you want to do this in a seated position, you can still work kind of the timing of that counterbalance and get a lot of benefit out of turning the waist. You would put your left foot out and your right hand forward, and you would switch as you go. Right? And if we're going to do this with the aid of kind of, let's call it more of a safety net approach, we have the chair next to us, right? And we can actually go, you can do it this way, right? Or you can do it, let's see, yep, this way. Right, so you can hold on, or at least have the hand here if you're concerned about losing balance. Okay? For those who are going to do it in a totally standing position, unassisted, we put the foot back, and we want to bring the foot forward, lightly touch. Bring the foot back and lightly touch. Forward, lightly touch, back, lightly touch. So when we go back, we want to try not to land with weight on that foot, and the same when we go forward. We want to keep our weight on top of the hips. So left foot back, left hand forward, and we're going to counterbalance. So we're going to bring the right hand forward as the left foot comes forward. Good, and we switch, very good. Switch, 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 and switch. Excellent. Let's put all the weight on the left. We're going to put our right foot back, right hand forward, and we switch, 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 and switch. That is awesome. All right, we're now going to point our right toe 45. We're going to start with our left foot against the right foot. We're going to put the left foot out and in, out and in. And same type of thing, we don't want to land and land, because then you have to take the weight off of that foot again. It ends up moving the whole body a lot more than it needs to. If I keep my weight here and bring the foot in and out, you notice I didn't have to shift my weight, right? So let's start with our foot out to the left, both hands to the right. Both hands are going to counterbalance. They're going to come across as the foot comes in and out. In, out. Excellent. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, and out. Awesome. Let's try the other side. We point the left toe. bring the right foot in, out, in, out, in, and out. So the foot out to the side, hands to the opposite side, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, you got it, out, in, out. So the reset, and the good news is there is a reset. So if the exercise gets away from us, which it can do, probably the last time you did anything like this, unless your hobby is Olympic, speed skating, you probably weren't doing too much of this type of motion. So if we do get the signal crossed, just start with your foot on the outside and the hands on the opposite side, and that's kind of your jump start to begin in, out, in, out, in, out, in, and out. Very good. Let's do deep breathing again. Arms up, elbows down, elbows out. We inhale and exhale. Good. Arms up, elbows down, elbows out. We inhale and exhale. One more time. Arms up, elbows down, elbows out. We inhale and exhale. Very good. So the next exercise, full disclosure, it's fairly complicated. Right? It's called silk reeling. And I'm going to show you what it looks like, but don't panic because we're then going to break it down into much easier to reassemble components. So silk reeling on the whole looks like this. It's a continuous movement. When we're teaching Tai Chi, we're originally starting with what we call the block version of the form. So it doesn't have that kind of full flowing and continuous movement, because it's more important than just moving gently and continuously is having an understanding of the structure and what we're trying to get our body to do, and kind of the principles of movement that help us to move the way our body is designed to move, so it's at its most efficient and really improving the health of the joints and improving balance and proprioception and all this other stuff. And so what we're going to do is, if we start with our right foot facing dead ahead, and we put the heel of our left foot against the right foot and then step straight up. Yep. And what we're going to do is we're going to shift our weight to the left and then relax the hip. The body naturally wants to turn to the left. We'll sit back on the right leg, release the hip. The body naturally wants to align itself this way. This is because your body always wants to align itself to the direction that your foot that has weight on it is pointed. I know that sounds like a lot, but it can be demonstrated very clearly like this. I plank this foot over, I take all my weight off and relax, and I magically end up facing this way. I didn't have to try to turn my waist, I just ended up facing that way because I think we can agree this is less comfortable than this, right? So we can use that fact that the body wants to align itself to the foot that has weight on it, so we don't have to think about timing of when am I going to turn during a certain exercise. We set up our feet in their proper position, we get alignment, we shift and relax, and we end up facing that way. We sit back and relax, we face this way. We shift, turn, sit back, turn, shift, turn, sit back, and turn. Good. Now Tai Chi being where it is, we of course are going to add the arms to that. So we're going to put our right hand at the left shoulder and the left hand at the right hip. Now we're going to shift to the left, lift the left hand, kind of hinging at the elbow, and then draw down with your right. And we're going to lift the left elbow and turn, draw down with the left. So we go right hand to the shoulder, sit back, left hand to the hip, shift to the left, lift the left, draw down with the right, turn, draw down with the left. Right hand to the shoulder, sit back, left hand to the hip, shift to the left, lift the left, draw down with the right, good. Turn, draw down with the left. Right hand to the shoulders, sit back, left hand to the hip, shift to the left, lift the left, draw down with the right, turn, draw down with the left. Very good. Right hand to the shoulder, sit back, left hand to the hip, shift to the left, lift the left, draw down with the right, turn, draw down with the left. High marks, that's awesome. So let's try the other side. We're going to point the left foot directly towards the front, Touch the arch of the right foot to the heel of the left, then step straight out so we're getting that alignment of foot. We're going to shift to the right, release the hip, turn to the right. Sit back on the left, release, turn to the left. Shift to the left, release, turn. Shift to the right, release, turn. Shift to the left, turn. Sit back on the right, turn. Good. Left hand, right shoulder. Right hand, left hip. Yep. We're going to shift to the right, lift the right, draw down with the left, turn, draw down with the right. Left hand to the shoulder, sit back, right hand to the hip, shift to the right, lift the right, draw down with the left, turn, draw down with the right. Left hand to the shoulder, sit back, right hand to the hip, shift to the right, lift the right, draw down with the left, turn, draw down with the right. One more time. Left hand to the shoulder, right hand to the hip, shift to the shift to the right, lift the right, draw down with the left, turn, draw down with the right. Very good. So that's obviously complicated, right? There's a lot going on. You know that a recipe is complicated by how many items are in it. If you listen to the sheer volume of words in narrating that, right? We have shift, lift, draw down, lift, turn, draw down, one hand here, one hand here. There's a lot kind of going on. The good news is that over time, doing this over and over again, and in fact in the same order every class, it becomes a lot easier. You become more familiar with it, and pretty soon you've built up some muscle memory. So you're not depending on mental memory, right? Mental memory is often suspect, right? I mean, the easiest way to describe this, mental memory is where did I put my bike? And muscle memory is when you finally find that thing, you jump on it, you go, you don't have to think about it, right? Your muscles take over that action that you've taught it to do. And so this is very much a similar thing where it looks really complicated, and it is, but over time, we build in the muscle memory. You get used to shifting and automatically turning. You get used to setting the hands in this position, and pretty soon things are firing in a proper sequence. It does take some time to build that up, but that's the approach. All right, so the next one we're going to do, we're going to lightly touch the left toe to the floor, and we're just barely putting any weight on that foot. We're going to cross the arms with the left hand in front, and we would call this a vertical elbow position, right? So the elbows are down, everything's relaxed. From here, we're going to lift the elbows to a horizontal position. I'm going to extend my left hand directly in front of me, and I'm going to turn my waist 45. I'm going to drop the elbows to vertical, turn back to the front, cross with the left hand in front. Good. So we lift the elbows, extend the left hand forward, turn to the corner, drop the elbows, turn back to the front, and cross. Very good. Lift the elbows, extend the left hand to the front, turn to the corner, drop the elbows, turn back to the front. Lift the elbows, extend the left hand to the front, turn to the corner, drop the elbows, turn back to the front. Lift the elbows, extend the left hand to the front, turn to the corner, drop the elbows, turn back to the front. Very good. So on the whole, that's largely well done. I would encourage you when we're doing this to keep your head facing the front direction, because what happens is when we get to this horizontal elbow position and turn to the corner, this is really the arm's job is done when it's here. The rest of this is turning the waist. When I'm looking at it, if I turn my head, I'm more inclined to kind of push it out because you can't believe that that's all there is to the arm. When you see this movement, it looks like the hands are doing this. But really, they're just doing this. The rest of this is turning the waist. So if you can keep your gaze to the front, it will keep you from kind of reaching with this hand. Where we lift and turn. Good, let's try the other side. So we're going to lightly touch with the right toe. Cross with the right hand on the outside. We lift the horizontal elbow, extend the right hand to the front, turn to the corner. Good. Drop the elbows to vertical, turn back to the front. Lift the elbows, extend the right hand to the front, turn to the corner. Drop the elbows, turn back to the front. Lift the elbows, right hand to the front, turn to the corner. Drop the elbows, turn back to the front. Lift the elbows, right hand to the front, turn to the corner. Drop the elbows, turn back to the front. Lift the elbows, right hand to the front, turn to the corner. Drop the elbows, turn back to the front. Well done. By the way, if you find yourself getting kind of crossed up when you're crossing your hands, Again, this is not your fault. This is just how our brains work. Our brain fully expects to see my right hand and my right foot on the right side and vice versa. When I cross, my brain has to do a calculation. Right? It's like if you intertwine your fingers and I say, okay, move your left hand's ring finger. It takes a second for that to happen because your brain has to figure out which one it is versus what it sees. And so when we're crossing here, it's very easy to all of a sudden get that kind of signal crossed, even though you know full well your left and your right. We do joke that Tai Chi can rob us of that understanding, but it does give it back later, so it's all right. So, okay, what we're going to do is feet shoulder width. This is preparation. It's the first movement that we do in the form. We gently lift, draw the elbows down, the hands come back towards the body, and we press down and settle in the legs. So we gently lift, draw down, press and settle, lift, draw down, press and settle, lift, draw down, press and settle, and one more time, we lift, draw down, press and settle. Well done. Now we're going to hold a low hoop. All we're trying to do here is hold this position, keep the round shape, and breathe gently. And yes, it can be done perfectly well in a seated position as well. Very good. Let's raise that hoop shoulder height. You might notice a little more tension in the shoulder when we do that. Just try to focus your mind on the shoulder muscle that gets tight and breathe gently to get that muscle to release. Now we're going to bring the elbows down, holding a small ball between the palms. Very good. And we breathe deeply and gently. Very good. Let's bring the palms down. We're going to straighten the arms, the legs, and the spine. We want to stand tall but relaxed. The feet are flat. Breathing deeply and gently. We want to straighten the wrist, fingers towards the ground. Let the arms just kind of drape off the shoulders. Everything's relaxed. Very good. Deep breathing, palms up. Elbows down, elbows out. We inhale and exhale. Good. Palms up, elbows down, elbows out. Inhale and exhale. And one more time. Palms up, elbows down, elbows out. Inhale and exhale. So one thing I do want to point out, whenever we're doing these exercises, we are doing things that challenge our balance. This is the only way we can improve our balance. Right, I've said this, many of you are probably sick of hearing me say it, and that's just a testament to the fact that you have been doing this for a while, which is great. For those that are new, all my jokes are funny and new, so in any case, when you're never going to improve your balance sitting on the couch, right? Sitting on the couch is awesome. It's just not going to improve your balance. We have to do things that challenge our balance to improve our balance. When we're doing things that challenge our balance, there are going to be times when we start to lose balance, we wobble. If I'm on one foot or I'm on my toes and I kind of go, whoa, I don't want you to see that as a negative event. I want you to see that as a positive event in moving towards better balance. The reason for that is there is no time that your brain is more attuned to prioritizing balance than when it feels like it's losing its balance. Right? So we have to do things like stand on one foot and swing the leg front to back, or shift the weight and lift up, or go up on our toes while we open the chest. All these things both challenge our balance but also improve our balance. So I just want to kind of point that out. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is step out again to that sideward stance. We're going to bring the right hand to the shoulder and the left hand to the hip. Right, and what we're going to do is both hands are at this 45-degree angle. The hand that's at the shoulder is going to come down the height of the hip at a 45. The hand that's at the hip is going to come up at a 45. Yep, so we bring shoulder to hip. We're going to shift to the left and open, sit back, close, good. Shift to the left, open, excellent. Sit back, close. Shift to the left, open, sit back, close, shift to the left, open, sit back, close. Excellent. Let's try the other side. So we step out with the right, left hand to the shoulder, right hand to the hip, shift, open, sit back, close, shift, open, sit back, close, shift, open, sit back, close, left hand to the shoulder, shift, open, sit back, close, shift, open, and sit back, close. Awesome. All right, so feet shoulder width, both palms face down. Earlier in the class, we did this, both arms making the same circle at the same time. We're going to do that again, but this time we're going to do one circle with the right. Nailed it. Now we're going to do one circle with the left. Awesome. Now we're going to alternate the right and the left. The right and the left. And of course, being Tai Chi, we have to add an element of waist turn. So we pick up the right, we turn to the right, put it down, pick up the left, turn to the left, put it down, pick up the right, turn to the right, put it down, pick up the left, turn to the left, put it down, pick up the right, turn to the right, put it down, pick up the left, turn to the left, put it down, pick up the right, turn to the right, put it down, pick up the left, turn to the left. Awesome, that was really nicely done. It's a lot to coordinate. Again, it's very easy to kind of get the signals crossed, which is why we build on referencing our own body. We get used to making this circle this size earlier, and so it's not so hard to imagine doing one and then the other, and then turning the waist hopefully doesn't change the rest of that movement. That's really good. So let's go feet shoulder width. We're going to make that low hoop again. This time we're going to take that hoop and maintain it as we lift the hands above the eyebrows, turn the palms out, drop the elbows to vertical, cross in the middle, and back down to low hoop. It doesn't matter which hand's in front on this one. So we lift, palms out, drop the elbows cross, and low hoop. Very good. So in the seated position, exactly the same thing. We lift, palms out, drop the elbows cross, low hoop. Lift, palms out, drop the elbows cross, low hoop. Lift, palms out, drop the elbows cross, low hoop. Awesome. So just a very quick note about the seated exercises, because we do have an adaptive version of this program. I teach this class to people in wheelchairs or who use walkers full time. And we can actually gain a lot, balance and also mobility, all of that stuff really improves even when we're in a seated position. One thing I would recommend if you're able to, if you're going to do an exercise in a chair, is to sit forward a little bit on the chair, because if I sit back in the chair using the backrest, I can't turn the waist to the same extent. And the other thing is that I don't improve the balance in the same way because I'm not really supporting the weight. But if I'm in this seated position here, you notice the shoulders over the hips, still the same way. I lift, palms out, drop the elbows cross, and low hoop. Awesome. All right, so the next one we're going to do, we'll take that same hoop. We're going to go shoulder height this time. We're going to turn the palms face out. And we're going to draw a figure eight on its side parallel to the shoulders. So what we're going to do is drop the elbows, the hands come out. Bring the elbows in, the hands come in. Good. Elbows out. Elbows in. Excellent. Elbows out. Elbows in. Elbows out. Elbows in. Elbows out. Elbows in. Elbows out. Elbows in. So just one thing about this, we want to drive this movement with the shoulder and the elbow. The hand just kind of goes along for the ride. So when I bring my elbows down, I don't have to bring my hands down, just the elbows. And then I bring the elbows in, the hands come in. I bring the elbows out, and I bring them down and in. So I don't want to necessarily bring the hands down by the waist. I want to keep the hands at the height of the shoulders, and they're going out, in, out, and in. Very good. Palms waist high, face up. We're going to bring the elbows out and make a circle. Gather two fists and extend out. Very good. Palms up, form a circle. excuse me, gather two fists and extend out. Palms up, form the circle, gather two fists and extend out, and palms up, form the circle, gather two fists and extend out. Excellent. So this exercise seems like overly complex, but we do get to a point in the form where we have that exact movement. So it does help us to kind of do this without having to worry about the sequence of it. The next thing we're going to do is a neutral position. We make a triangle, both hands together in the center. The fingertips, the height of the nose, I'll turn to the side so you can see that your arms are at a 45-degree angle from the elbow joint. And what we want to do is draw straight down with the right hand. The heel of your right palm ends up the height of the navel. The both hands still on the center. And we come back around. Good. Draw down with the left and around. Keeping both hands in the center. Draw down and around. Very good. Draw down and around. Excellent. Draw down and around. Draw down and around. Draw down and around. Draw down and around. Very good. Horizontal elbow with our right palm facing us, so the thumb is up. Left palm against the right palm, so I have one elbow down, one elbow up. And I want to relax the shoulder and alternate. So the elbow switch position. Good. Very good. So again, we're increasing the mobility of the shoulder joints. Very good. Let's switch sides, bringing back with the left palm facing us, right palm against the left palm, and alternate. Very good. Excellent. Both palms back together. This one's called draw the bow. So it's like drawing a bow and an arrow to the side. What we want to do is, starting with the hands in this neutral position, turn towards the right and then turn your waist back to the middle so you end up with a line. Right? Because I don't want to rely on just my arms. In archery, if I were to grab a bow and arrow and just pull on the string, there's a lot of tension there. If I were to hold the string and push out with this arm again, a lot of tension. So we're trying to delete muscular tension. We gently turn and then turn the waist again to come back to the middle. Good. Turn to the left and back to the middle. Excellent. Turn to the right and back to the middle. Turn to the left and back to the middle. Turn to the right and back to the middle. Turn to the left and back to the middle. Turn to the right and back to the middle. Very good. Now this one, we're going to open our feet and point the toes 45. We're going to bend the knees slightly, and this one again, it's reminiscent of the old Joan Fonda video. We're going to cross, lift, big circle. Good. Cross, lift, big circle. Cross, lift, big circle. Cross, lift, big circle. Cross, lift, big circle. Excellent. So we've got that part pretty well automated. No one has to think too hard about what's happening there. So just keep that cross lift big circle in the back of your mind as we also turn the waist. So we turn to the right, cross lift, we make a big circle, turn back to the middle, turn to the left, cross lift, make a big circle as we turn back to the middle. Good. Turn to your right, cross lift, make a big circle, turn back to the middle, turn to your left, cross lift, make a big circle as you turn back to the middle, turn to your right, cross lift, make a big circle, turn back to the middle, and turn to your left, cross lift, big circle, back to the middle. Very good. Feet shoulder width. We're going to cross with the right hand on the outside. We're going to raise the right hand and press with the left. So we're going for an even stretch, up and down, and we're going to switch. Good. Switch. 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 And switch. Very good. Deep breathing. Arms up. Elbows down. Elbows out. We inhale. And exhale. Good. Hands up. elbows down, elbows out, inhale, and exhale, hands up, elbows down, elbows out, inhale, and exhale. Beautifully done so far. Any questions? No? Okay, no worries. So let's build on what we did last class, where we're going to do grasp the sparrow's tail movement. We're going to do both the symmetrical version, where both hands are doing the same movement, and we're going to do the asymmetrical version, where one hand's doing one thing and one hand's doing the other, and then finally we'll put it together with the legs. All right. So if we start feet shoulder width, we go to this triangle or neutral position. So we have this geometric shape of a triangle. We can kind of verify this by eye for ourselves. We're going to make a big loop. Good. Square is we straighten the arms straight out in front of us, and the shoulder joint makes that square angle. We're going to draw diagonally down. The wrist ends up at the hip. Lift the hand up to the chest and push out square for a second time. Draw down. Palms up this time. We're going to bring our fingertips towards the middle and back to triangle. Very good. So we have triangle, hoop, square, diagonal, lift up, push out, square, diagonal, palms up, fingertips towards each other in the middle, and back to triangle. Very good. One more time. Triangle, hoop, square, good, diagonal, lift up, push out, square, diagonal, palms up, fingertips towards each other, and meeting in the good. Let's do one with no narration. So we'll just follow what we see. And we start with triangle, and then I'll actually be blissfully quiet. I'm sure everyone will appreciate that. Good. Nice. Excellent. Fantastic. That's really nicely done. Now let's add just a little bit of complexity. We're going to do the asymmetrical version. So we start same thing with the triangle. We're going to draw down with our left hand. Horizontal elbow, there's your hoop with your right. Left palm against the right palm gives you square as well as your hoop. Straighten your right arm, that's square again. Connect the wrist of your right hand to the fingertips of the left and draw both hands diagonally down to the left hip. Left palm goes up while staying connected. Bring the right hand to the right hip. Lift the hand to the shoulder, and we push out square. Very good. Let's try again. Neutral position. Draw down with the left. Horizontal elbow or hoop with the right. Palm against palm. There's your square. Extend out square. Connect at the wrist. Draw both hands down diagonally. Lift up to the shoulder. We push out square. Very good. Let's try one more time. Draw down, horizontal elbow, palm against palm, extend out square, connect at the wrist, draw diagonally down to the hip, left palm up, push the right hand to the right hip, lift the hand to the shoulder, we push out square. Beautifully done. Let's do one with no narration. So we're here, we'll just follow along. Good. Good. Excellent. Very good. You guys are too good. That's great. So now let's add, I'm going to do just the legs, right? Just the legs. I'm going to step out into that empty stance with my right foot in front. You do want to pay attention to the placement of that front foot. If I bring this foot too far over here, this is sometimes something people do is they bring their leg around the hip. Then when I go to shift forward, I'm unstable this way. Your knees are actually designed to bend fully. Not that I would suggest just dipping down for everybody, but this is perfectly safe for my knee. It's within the parameters of the design of the knee. Doesn't mean that whether we've had muscular tension or ligament weakness, maybe we've had injury, or maybe we've just lost the mobility because we haven't done that so much. But the problems in where you're going to get knee pain or knee injury is when the knee is bending in the direction it doesn't normally go. So front to back is okay. Side to side is much more problematic, right? So if I place my foot in a straight line with my heel, then I know that when I shift forward, my knee is going to be bending straight over the toe and it's okay. Right? If I bring this foot way over here and try to shift this way, the knee dips down. If I bring the foot way over here and try to shift this way, the knee goes that way. So, yep. It is, yes. The other foot's at a 45 degree because that helps to open up the hip for going forward. So great question. So we go forward and back. Forward and back. One more time. Forward, back. Perfect. So let's step out with that right foot, that empty stance. We go to a triangle position. Draw down with your left hand. Horizontal elbow with your right. There's your hoop. There's your square. Shift your weight forward, keeping the rear foot flat. Extend the right arm out square. Connect at the wrist. Sit back and draw both hands diagonally down the left hip. Left palm up. Push your right hand to the right hip. Lift the hand to the shoulder. And we go forward. Very good. Again, neutral position. All our weight's on the left leg right now. We draw down with the left hand. Horizontal elbow, palm against palm. We shift our weight forward. Extend out, square. Connect at the wrist, sit back. Draw both hands diagonally down to the left hip. Left palm up, push your right hand to the right hip. Lift the hand to the shoulder. And we go forward. Good. How about one time without narration? So here we go. Good. Excellent. Very good. Let's try that again. That was nicely done. Very good. One more time. Bravo. Well done. So this is kind of an approach that my teacher, Calvin Chin, came up with based on kind of his over 50 years of teaching Tai Chi to people. The old methodology of learning Tai Chi would be just follow along and eventually you'll feel something. And if I would have started class with this and said just follow along, how many people would understand what they were doing, right? We'd all end up kind of like this. I'm not really sure what's that, or we're just doing this, right? So when we break these things down into simpler components, it makes it easier to then reassemble them. And that's kind of the whole philosophy behind the way that my teacher teaches and therefore the way that I teach. All right, so let me just do a quick time check and see where we're at. Okay, we have 9 minutes. Awesome. All right, so we're gonna use every minute of it. So what we'll do is, I'm gonna do the very beginning of the form with you facing you in mirror image. Typically in a physical class, that's something that I wouldn't do, but especially because we have some new people so that they can still see what the arms are doing as we do that, we sometimes find that helpful. I will also turn my back to what we call conventional view, because sometimes mirror image is either your best friend or it's the devil, and it just depends on how your brain is wired. It has nothing to do with kind of aptitude, intelligence, ability for Tai Chi. It's just like you're right-handed or left-handed, right? So it never fails that it's pretty much 50-50 down the line. 50% of the people, if I'm doing something mirror image facing you, and I say, hold up your right hand, 50% of the people hold up their right hand, they heard the narration, and they see that what they're seeing is like looking in a mirror. My hand goes up on the same side as theirs to the eye, right? And the other 50% of people are saying, why is that guy lying to me? He's holding up his left, right? And so that's just a question of how you're wired. And so this is why I'll do it both directions. I'll do it facing you in mirror image. If that's confusing, don't worry, I'm also going to do it conventional view. But if mirror image does kind of get you confused, remember that I'm always narrating from the conventional view perspective. I'm always, if I say right hand, it's your right hand, right? Okay, so we're going to, preparation, feet shoulder width, everything relaxed. We raise the arms, elbows down. So this is exactly like the exercise we do. We're going to shift to the right, pivot on the left, shift to the left, step out, neutral position, and our fall extended. I just did the reverse of what I'm supposed to do because I did mirror image. All right, let's try that again, sorry. So we go preparation. Did I mention the cognitive benefits of Tai Chi? It's really something. Okay. All right, so we're gonna shift to the left, pivot on the right, shift to the right, touch the left toe, and step out with our left foot. That's better. Now we go triangle position, draw down with your right, horizontal elbow with your left, palm against palm. We're gonna go forward. Good. Now we're gonna sit back, kick our left heel out, and then shift towards the front of the class onto the left leg. We're going to alternate the elbow, draw down with the right hand, flying diagonally. We're going to step up, step in, and step out. So your right foot comes out, and the right hand goes on top. Good. Now we're going to do grass to sparrow's tail. So with the horizontal elbow with the right, palm against palm, shift forward. Extend the right arm out, connect at the wrist, sit back, draw down, flip, push to your right hip, lift the hand to the shoulder, and we go forward. Beautifully done. Okay? So now I'm going to do conventional view, especially because the people on the side were going in the same direction as me, but I was doing it on the opposite side as them, so that could be confusing from the side. So let's start. Feet shoulder width. Preparation, we raise up, draw down. We're going to shift, pivot, step out with the left foot, triangle position, draw down with the right hand, horizontal elbow with the left, palm against palm, we shift forward. We sit back, kick our left heel out, shift our weight to the left leg, and then raise the right elbow, drawing down diagonally with the right hand, flying diagonally. We lift up, bring the right foot in, bring the right foot out. Right hand on top, neutral position, horizontal elbow with the right, palm against palm, we shift our weight forward. Extend the right arm out, connect at the wrist, sit back, draw down to the left hip, left palm up, push your right hand to the right hip, lift the hand to the shoulders, and we go forward. Very nicely done. How's that feel? Because that's suspiciously like Tai Chi, right? Awesome. All right, let's, repetition being our friend, with whatever time we've got left, let's use it to do that, okay? So here we are, preparation. Draw down and settle. Good. Shift, pivot on your right, shift, touch the toe, and step out, empty stance. Neutral position with the left hand on top. Horizontal elbow with the left, palm against palm, we shift forward. Sit back, kick your left leg, your left heel out, and shift your weight to the left side, raise your right elbow, and draw down with the right hand, flying diagonal. Good. We step up, step in, step out with your right foot, empty stance, right hand on top, neutral position. Horizontal elbow with the right, palm against palm. Good. Shift forward, extend out square, connect the wrist, sit back, draw both hands down to the left hip, left palm up, push your right hand to the right hip, lift the hand to the shoulder, and we go forward. Really nicely done. So let's do that one more time. Preparation. Draw down. Shift. Pivot on the right toe. Shift. Step out with the left foot, empty stance. Neutral position. Draw down with the right hand. Horizontal elbow with the left, palm against palm. We shift forward, beginning style on the left. Sit back. Kick your left heel out, shift your weight to the left, alternate so your right elbow comes up, draw down diagonally with your right hand, good. Step up, step in, step out. Right hand on top, neutral position, horizontal elbow with the right, palm against palm, and we go forward, extend the right arm out, connect at the wrist, sit back, draw both hands down to the hip, left palm up, push your right hand to the right hip, and we go forward. Very good. So just something that we can also kind of reference for Tai Chi homework. And don't worry, there's no pop quiz or anything. But the next class we'll be able to take that from where we were and add something to it. The next movement is called single whip, and it relies on us having an understanding of where 45 degrees is in regards to our body. There's a couple of ways we could find 45, right? The first way is if we put our heels together so that our feet are both facing 45 degrees. We put the edge of our hand on the thigh, and on this one we're going to kind of do something I would normally advise against, which is we're going to tilt the head to look down, and we want to trace the line that our toes are pointed with our arms, raising them at that angle until they get shoulder height. So we're going for this 45 degree with the arms. We want to drop the elbows so the arms are also at 45 and turn the palms out. Good, so there's 45. Let's try that again. We're going to trace that line. Good, draw the elbows down, turn the palms out. Right, one more time. We're going to raise the arms on that 45 degree, drop the elbows, turn the palms out. Very good. Another way that we can reference 45 is just from our understanding of kind of straight ahead at 90, to the sides is 180, and 45 is the middle. So if we bring both hands together, arms fully extended, that's kind of 90 degrees to the front. This is 180 to the side. And so if we go half that distance, there's your 45. You drop your elbows to 45 and turn the palms out. There's your single whip position. All right, let's try that again. So here's 90, 180, 45. Drop your elbows down, turn the palms out. Here's your 45 for single whip. Another way that you can find that 45 is that our belly button is 90, and the side of the body is the side of your leg here, or your ribs on this side is 180, your hip bone is going to be 45. So when you're referencing whether you're here or here, when you drop your elbows, you think, does that elbow kind of line up on the hip? So this is also a way to tell if you've brought your elbows too far behind you. Sometimes people will do this. But when you're referencing that 45, the elbows, I'll turn to the side so you can see, are kind of in front of the body, not behind it. Okay? So feet either 45 or feet square. We go 90, 180, drop the elbows, palms out, and hook your right hand. There's our single whip. Now let's reference that again. We're going to bring the left hand down, come across, touch the right wrist, and come back to that 45 degree position. So this helps to kind of solidify that posture, right? We come across, touch, come back. Good. Now one thing about that is if I don't turn my waist, I can't reach my arm. The only way for me to connect this hand outside of extending out awkwardly is that when I come down, I turn towards this hand, I touch, and as I come back, I turn away. So I come down, I turn towards, I touch, I come back, I turn away. I come down, touch, and you come away. Awesome. So you might have a question, and I'm sure we're probably right at the end of class here, but before we go, you may have a question is, how am I going to remember all of this, right? And the answer is you're not. You're not going to remember every single thing that we did in class. In fact, if you leave a typical Tai Chi class, after an hour of doing all of these different things, if you remember one thing, Yahtzee, that's success, right? We do have some resources that will help you as far as memorization, because the more you see it, even if you go home and you're exhausted, you're just having a bad day, and you don't feel like you can do the movement, even seeing these exercises and the movement can help us to retain what we're trying to do. If you can follow along, even better. So we have a few resources for that. One, we have a class on Wednesdays at 1:15. That's a free class that I offer to people from the COAs on Zoom, right? So I'll make sure that they send out an email with all that info. But that Zoom link should be on the Walpole COA website already in their kind of virtual classes that are being offered, right? So there's no cost to that. In addition to that, my teacher school, Calvin Chin's Martial Arts Academy, we have a YouTube channel, and we stream classes live 4 days a week, 4 classes a day. And so it's a lot of content. Again, there's no charge to it. If you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell next to that, it'll notify you every time we're going live. It's not quite as interactive in Zoom because we can't see you, but we do have the ability to ask questions in chat, and since I monitor all of the chat, I can get those questions answered for you in real time, so that's kind of a cool resource as well. And actually, the other thing is that I also have a class on Mondays at noon on Zoom, and then I have 2 classes on Fridays, one at 9:30 and one from 3 to 4. So both of those hopefully will be something that you can do. And you can go to martialartsforlife.net, and the full schedule is up, and you can buy a block of classes that won't expire, so you can take those classes if you like as well. So that's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure we're at the end of time. So I want to thank you all for coming. Also, thank you to Local Media for their awesome job in filming. It was really nice to get a copy of that last week, and it's great. So again, and also thank you to Walpole Council on Aging for hosting. It's an unbelievable day to do Tai Chi out there. So great. Thank you very much.